Hello, welcome to another Summer Storytime. Now, today is going to be the last story in this year's Summer Storytime, but it is a two-part story. So part one will be this week, and part two, the end, will be next Sunday. And this story, well, you may remember that last year during Sunday Storytime, one of the first stories I read was The Legend of Coed Frank, which was the story of the beginnings of Coed Frank Primary School. Well, a few years before then, I worked in Crynant Primary School on a project creating their school legend, The Quest for Wisdom. And a couple of years after the story was written, we performed the play with the Year 6 class at Llangatw Community School. So, here we go. This is part one of The Quest for Wisdom. Mr. Jones, the head teacher, stood at the front of the school hall, rows of expectant children gazing back. He put his hands together, poised, ready to speak. Bore da, plant. Good morning, children. This year is a very important year for our school. It is the school's centenary. It is 100 years since this school was built. Now, I wasn't here 100 years ago, of course, but I do know of a very special story. A story important to the village of Creunant, and a story I am going to share with you now. So let us all go back 100 years, where we start our story with a boy. It was a peaceful early spring morning in Penpentre, Creunant. Smoke drifted aimlessly for the chimneys of the 5 little stone cottages which stood in the shadow of the vast elm trees. Ashley, a local boy, was resting against one of the trees, reading a newspaper dated April the 17th, 1912. The front page of the newspaper was dominated by the terrible story of the sinking of the Titanic. Ashley wanted so much to share this story, but with both his brothers having died of cholera and his father tragically killed at Treforgan Colliery 3 years ago when Ashley was 8, much of his time was spent on his own. Just then, the morning silence was broken by the sound of Ashley's mother calling out to him. Ashley, can you go down to the mill to buy some flour, please? Okay, ma'am, he replied. Ashley rose, rolled up the newspaper, and strolled nonchalantly towards the mill. It was only a short distance. Ashley knew the way, having visited many times before. Approaching the mill, he heard Willow, the miller's daughter, and a friend of Ashley's calling out to him. Hello, Ashley! A warm smile greeted him as always. Good morning, he replied. Oh, it is, isn't it? I do love it when the sun shines here. So what can I do for you today? My mum has asked me to collect some flour. Just the 1 bag will do, I think. Oh, that's no problem. You can have this one. Willow stretched down to pick up a bag that lay against the side of the wall of the mill. Thank you. Ma'am will be pleased. You walking back to Penpentre? Said Willow. Yes. Can I come along? Come along for a walk? It would be nice to enjoy the sunshine. Of course. Do you need to tell your dad? Willow, who was a year younger than Ashley, lived with her father at the mill. He had brought her up after Willow's mother had died during childbirth. They both lived in the mill with a lovely view of the bending river and the roots of the ash trees reaching into the cool, clear water. As they arrived at Ashley's home, they heard an elderly man's voice coming from the end cottage. Have you finished reading that newspaper, Ashley? I have something else for you to read. It was Mr. Charles. He was perched on a small wooden stool, carving a wooden owl. Mr. Charles had been Ashley's neighbour for as long as he could remember. It was Mr. Charles who had taught Ashley to read. "Hello, Mr. Charles. How are you?" "I am fine, thank you. Come on in, my friends. I have something for you today." Both children followed Mr. Charles down the stony path and into his cottage. "Please take a seat," he said, directing the children to two small stools that stood in the corner of a room that was surrounded by shelves stacked with books that looked as though they'd been read by many, many hands over many, many years. "Now, I said I have something to show you both, didn't I?" Mr. Charles took a small box from the mantelpiece, and from the box he removed a worn, folded-up piece of paper, brown with age. Ashley had to stand up for a closer look. "What is it, Mr. Charles?" A mixture of curiosity and excitement in his voice. Slowly, so as not to rip it, Mr. Charles opened up the piece of paper to reveal a riddle. It read, "To seek the seeds, to grow the trees, first take the path to find the keys, located in a hidden chest, buried deep within a giant nest. Next, follow the trail through ancient trees until you find a face of leaves. But of his tail you must beware, or you might fall into his lair. Once from the woods you must find a sleeping Titan amongst the pines. Between their roots there will arise colossal tears in a stream of lies. Detect its source to toothless jaws of stone where you descend, of course. Journey down the winding stairs, but watch your step and be aware. At its base you must unlock the wooden door within the rock. The seeds you seek are safely stored, guarded by a face of stone. To own this prize and show you're wise, answer the riddle before moonrise. Once gained, the seeds will grow into the trees of knowledge, it is true. Protect them well and you will know. With nourishment, wisdom grows." "This, children, is a quest," said Mr. Charles. "A quest passed down to me from my grandfather, and one that I have been waiting for both of you to be old enough to do, as it is only you who can do this. If you are successful, and I know you both will be, it will bring a better future for all the children who live here in Creunant. So will you do this and seek the seeds?" Ashley couldn't contain himself. "Oh, yes, yes, yes!" His hands trembled. "Oh, we must, Willow. It is our chance for a better future. I don't want to be working in Treforgan all my life. It's a chance of a lifetime." Willow nodded. "Oh, you are right. We must. Where do we start, Mr. Charles?" After a quick visit home, in which they filled a haversack with some bread, cheese, and water, the riddle, Mr. Charles's penknife, which he had said they could have, and some extra clothing, Ashley and Willow set off on their quest, travelling along the path, shaded either side by sycamore trees. Ashley and Willow searched for the first clue of the quest. "Where could it be?" wondered Willow. From the riddle, Ashley read, "Located in a hidden chest, buried deep within a giant nest." "There's no pterodactyls here," joked Willow. "Or a cyclops," laughed Ashley. They eventually came to a clearing, and in the centre of the clearing stood 3 beech trees, with their branches intertwined. Ashley ran towards the 3 trees. "That's it, Willow! Look! The branches make a giant nest." "I think you're right, Ashley, but where is the chest?" Willow and Ashley searched around the tangled roots of the trees, but found nothing. Then, out of the corner of her eye, Willow noticed a hollow in one of the trees. "Look! What's in there?" She pointed to the hollow. It looked dark, dank, and not very inviting. "Put your hand in. It could be the chest." "In there?" "Okay, I'll do it." Reaching into the hole, Willow felt the rough bark and wet leaves. She reached further until, "I've got it! It's a box. I've got it!" She dragged the box out of the trunk. "Oh no, it's locked. How do we open it?" said Willow. "I don't know. There's no key." Then, "Wait, what's this? Let me have a closer look." Ashley wiped the lid of the box with a cloth. "It says something." On top of the box in faint letters was the word Athena. Above these letters was written the following question: "Who is the goddess of wisdom?" Ashley knew the goddess of wisdom because Mr. Charles had given him a book on Greek myths and legends. The letters had to be rearranged. As quick as a flash, Ashley answered, "It's Athena." Suddenly, there was a loud click. The lid opened. Curious, excited, they peered inside. "The keys!" they both said at once. And there, nestled at the bottom of the chest, were 3 small, shiny silver keys. Clutching their prized possession proudly, the children walked back onto the path, an optimistic spring in their step. "What do we do next?" Willow asked. "The riddle says to follow the trail through the ancient trees until you find the face of leaves." I wonder what that means. Wish I knew. Come on, let's keep looking. As they carried on, the path grew muddy, wet, and led into a dark, eerie wood. "I hope we haven't got to go in there," said Willow, pointing in the direction of the wet, muddy path. "I hope not too, but if that's what we have to do, we won't find the next clue if we don't. We must go." "Maybe we could walk around it," said Willow, more in hope than expectation. "We have to go in, Willow. There's no way around all these trees." "Fine, but you're going in first." Nervously, Ashley and Willow crept along the wet, muddy path. Then, from out of nowhere, the forest appeared to come alive. From all around came the sound of creaking, rustling, something moving. It was getting louder. "What's that noise?" said Willow, her voice barely a whisper. I think it's the trees. They're moving. The trees are moving." The path behind her began to close up as trees filled up their escape routes. With no other option than to move forward, both Ashley and Willow moved on in silence, trying to avoid tripping over the thick roots of the trees. "These trees are looking at us, Ashley. Can you see their faces?" "Yes, let's get out of here." Suddenly, there was a powerful gust of wind. Leaves on the forest floor swirled around an old, gnarled oak tree that stood in front of them. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. Slowly, the children looked up. "What just happened?" mumbled Willow. "Hello!" A voice, clear and pleasant, came from nowhere. "Who was that?" said Ashley, frantically looking around. "It was I," the voice replied. From one of the trees, they saw what appeared to be a face made entirely of oak leaves. It had a beard made from dark moss and eyes you wouldn't trust. Ashley and Willow moved closer. "I am the face of leaves, the protector of this forest, here to guide you. Are you two lost?" "The face of leaves! Oh, I'm so glad we found you. Can you help us?" Willow said. "You know of me. Wonderful. I can help you. Come, Follow me. At that moment, another gust of wind blew. Before their eyes, the face of leaves had moved to the next tree, then the next. Come on, this way, the face of leaves said, as a new path opened up in the trees. Willow, as if in a trance, started to follow him. But Ashley hesitated. There was something he wasn't sure about. Then he remembered the riddle. How did the line go? But of his tail you must beware, or you might fall into his lair. He screamed, no, it's a trap. He made to run after Willow, but he couldn't move. Long snaking leaves grabbed at his legs. He shouted after Willow again, but she carried on walking, following the wicked face of leaves as she disappeared down the path and out of sight. Willow! And that was the first part of the quest for wisdom. So come back next Sunday for one final summer story time to find out what happens next. Until then, bye for now.